Illiterature.
Oh, are we starting?
I don't know. We should.
I was just gonna catch up.
I know. I was just gonna hang out.
I was just ready to pop on some Crash Bandicoot.
Oh my god! Right. Oh yeah. So this is Illiterature.
It sure is.
The podcast where we tell you what you can pretend to know.
Yeah, or we tell you what we pretend to know, and then you can do with with it what you will.
You know it.
I don't
know it.
As of about like an hour ago.
That's not true. She's well rehearsed. She's so smart. She's read all of this.
Thank you.
Okay.
I have. I've written all of this, so let's discover together what I wrote. Little Women. Written by Louisa May Alcott.
Full disclosure, I did read this in the 5th grade.
Oh wow, that's a long time ago.
Okay, alright. I don't need a reminder.
No. I mean, like, that's young, though, to be, like, reading Little Women. It seems to me it's...
I was like a smart child that then turned into, like, a complacent adult. You know?
The slipperiest of slopes.
You know when you're, like, a really smart kid and you're like, I can coast through this.
I have to try.
And then you do, and you don't. Yeah, the first, like, serious book I read was in 5th grade. It was... To Kill a Mockingbird.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
Did you enjoy it as a 5th grader? Oh, good.
It's a good book. I was gonna say movie.
It's both.
Yeah.
Yeah,
but I don't remember.
I think I ever read that. Or I read segments from it, maybe.
But yeah, so I read it, but I don't remember it.
Okay.
I don't even remember what happened, like, last month. So.
Yeah.
It's fine.
That's relatable.
Little Women.
Lil Women.
All I know
that's
is...
my rap name.
Oh my god, that's so good! Little Women.
Listen up, folks. It's the place to be. I'm gonna read you a story about Meg, Joe, Beth, and Amy.
Alright.
I got there.
Yeah.
It's
hard, though.
It was Garden Path.
But you've seen the new movie with Timothée Chalamet.
I sure have. Have you?
No, I have not yet.
Gosh.
I know, I'm really excited.
Oh my gosh.
So you have to tell me what
now
actor is playing what character.
Sure. I feel a little bit guilty for, like, spoiling it in a lot of ways.
Like,
I know.
I mostly remember what happened because in Friends, you know, when Rachel gets Joey to read Little Women and Joey gets Rachel to read The Shining.
Ah, no.
And, like,
I
they spoil it for each other. So I remember that.
Okay.
Like, I know who dies. Like, someone's always gotta die.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Someone dies.
That's not so much, at issue. Okay, so I guess we'll start.
Sure.
The beginning of this story takes place in the midst of the Civil War in the States. So, like, mid-1800s-ish. It was published in 1868, so I guess around then. In a new neighborhood based loosely on Concord in Massachusetts, apparently. So, yeah, they're in Massachusetts.
1800s, Massachusetts. Yeah. Got it.
So it's big hoop skirts.
Nice.
But like hair that loops and covers your ear.
Why are they covering the ear?
I don't know. I always find it a little weird. Like, they look like kind of like floppy-eared dogs.
Oh. No.
No, I don't think it's particular. Like, I don't think.
I'll have to look at it.
I don't want to have sex with a dog.
You heard it here first, folks. She does not want to have sex with a dog.
I don't.
And
I don't know why anyone would. Please.
Don't add her. She doesn't want to fuck a dog.
How many communities can I anger with that statement? Probably more than you'd think.
Yikes.
So we opened with the titular... I don't know if we should keep any of that. We opened with the titular Little Women.
Ah, the Little Women.
Who are Meg, who is 16, Joe, who is 15.
Wait.
Yes.
Who's Meg in the movie?
Emma Watson.
Okay.
Joe, who is 15, Saoirse Ronan.
Mm-hmm.
Beth, who is 13. Oh my god, what's her name?
Florence?
No, the other one. I know her.
Yeah, who the fuck is the other one?
Gosh, she was in Sharp Objects. She's like an
Amy Adams?
She's like an up and comer. No, the one that played Amy Adams' little sister.
Little Amy.
Little Amy. No, this is Beth. She plays. Shit, who is she?
You can Google it.
Eliza Scanlon.
Can I see what she looks like?
She's a ginger in this movie, but she's not always a ginger.
Oh.
You know her? Yeah. And then Florence Pugh is Amy, the youngest, who is 12. So it's
12.
Yeah, but Meg, who you see their whole life.
Oh.
So it's like they cast like early 20s and just like please believe us.
That's like so much of filmmaking. Please believe us.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's still not as bad as Grease somehow.
Oh, we were just talking about Grease and how much I did not like it.
Oh.
Well,
when
I
was the
didn't-
first time you saw it?
I never
Out of
watched it
curiosity.
as a child,
Okay.
so I watched it as an adult, and I couldn't even get through it because I
wow.
couldn't get over how everyone looked like they were 30.
Or 40.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and just the rapey vibes of the
Yeah.
song. And I was like,
yeah.
yeah, did she put up a fight? I'm like, exit.
Control Alt.
Yeah, and I knew like what the ending was with the car and her being all hot and like smoking a cigarette, and he was like, finally, I can fuck her. And I was like, all right,
Sometimes that's what it takes.
just a bit of like latex. No.
Oh gosh, it would have been sweaty. Can you imagine? Like, I bet Olivia Newton-John smells nice in general.
But not in that scene, she didn't.
Possibly not. That might have been it. That might have been the tipping point.
Of her BO. Just that scene. They're like, she smells nice, but all right.
Usually, yeah. So Meg 16, Joe 15, Beth 13, Amy 12.
Okay. Meg, Emma Watson, Joe,
Saoirse Ronan, Beth, Eliza Skin, and Amy Florence.
you.
They live with their mother, who they call Marmee, spelled M-A-R-M-E-E.
What? M-A-R.
M-E-E. I know, I hate it too, but I guess it's like
Marmee.
Marmee. And they write it like that, like it's her name, but I think it's just like
Marmee.
Mommy, right?
Marmee. That's like haunted. Marmee.
The way you said it just then was haunted. It was like you were like standing at the end of a really long corridor.
Marmee. May I have sandwich? Marmee. Marmee and
So they
me.
live with their mum, but not their dad, because at the moment he's serving in the Union Army. That's the good guys.
I mean, good for him.
As an army chaplain. So he was like too old to actually serve in the army. So he's gone in as a priest for the troops.
Oh.
Yeah.
He's the guy that, like, in the field just blesses all the dead people.
Yeah. And the living ones, I presume.
Whatever, no time.
Yeah. This is the girls' first Christmas without their dad.
Oh, no.
And they're pretty bummed, especially because they've been told they can't afford presents this year.
Oh.
Apparently they used to be like gentlemen. He used to be a gentleman, but he lost all their money somehow by giving it away because he's like a good guy, but or something like that. It was based on Louisa Alcott's real dad, who did do that, who like lost all their money on transcendentalism or something. Don't ask me to explain it.
Oh.
Yeah. Can't
even say it.
They've got $1 each. And they
$1?
$1 each.
Thank you, Marmee.
And they each want to get themselves something. Meg wants nice clothes, Joe wants a book, Beth wants music, as in like sheet music, and Amy wants new drawing pencils. But they eventually all agree that they're going to buy presents for their mother instead.
Oh.
I know!
Little Women, more like...
Little angels.
Okay, that's better than what I had, which was nothing.
That night, their mum comes home and reads a letter from their father.
Oh, no.
Who reminds them to be dutiful to their mom and good, so when he returns, he can be, quote, prouder than ever of My Little Women. There's
My
the
Little
title.
Dad said it. Darty. D-A-R-D. Marmee and Darty.
Fuck. Oh my god. Okay, so it's Christmas morning, and all the girls find books under their pillows bound in their own special colours. Like, they're colour-coded for your convenience, which I think's really good.
That's really good.
Like,
so I can
Joe's
see my
red.
reflection in the microphone, and it's really trippy. But
You don't have to look at it.
Ah.
Should we cover you up like a bird?
So I don't look at Okay.
You
Joe.
just go quiet. Joe, yeah, she's got like a red one. Amy's got a
The
blue one.
Source.
Shursa.
Amy's Florence. Pugh.
Pugh. And I think the book is Pilgrim's Progress by John Bunyan, which is like
Wait,
an
they all
allegorical...
got the same book?
Yeah, they each got their own copy. Which is like an allegorical novel about a character named Christian who has to climb up a hill called Difficulty and gets captured by a giant named Despair and stuff like that until he finally gets to heaven.
Why can't they get 5 different books and then switch them around?
I think because it could also be the Bible. Like she talks about Pilgrim's Progress a lot, but I can't remember her actually saying they each had a copy of Pilgrim's Progress, but it was for their Pilgrim's Progress. So like the idea of the book is it's like a
Metaphor.
yeah, and like a guide to being a good Christian
good
kind of thing. This is surprisingly Christian. It was surprising it probably shouldn't have been surprising to me, but like the movies are quite secular the way they deal with it, and this is very sort of instructive.
Now we need to watch the movie for research.
Yeah, well, yeah. So Alcott actually refers to that book a lot. Apparently, the girls used to play Pilgrim's Progress, so they've all read this book. In the past, or been told the story in the past, and they used to play Pilgrim's Progress and climb up from the basement to the attic and like dress up as pilgrims and have little knapsacks and yeah, it's cute.
That really peaked.
All the girls swear that they'll work on a particular floor of their own. So like their mum's giving this book as like, you know, like work on yourselves Christian style. And they're like, yeah, we will. So Meg wants to be less vain. Joe.
Meg.
Emma Watson.
Eliza. Oh, no, Emma Watson.
Yeah. Joe wants to be less intemperate. Beth wants to envy others less. And Amy wants to be less selfish.
All right.
And they agree, they each resolve to read a little of the book every day. So they give their mum their presents, gloves and hankies and things. Amy takes away the tiny bottle of cologne that was gonna be her present. And the other girls think she's going to spend the money on herself. But when she gets back, she's got a much bigger bottle of cologne. She felt guilty for being, like, stingy with her dollar. She got, like, a little one, just hoping to save some money for later. And then she's like, no, I'm going to be less selfish. So she goes and she buys a big one. And now she's like, ha, now my present's the best of them all.
She won.
Yes, she did win.
So the book was a present from their
mom.
From their mom.
So she's like, no presents this year. But she's like, no, one little thing for you guys.
Plus $1.
The dollar, I think they'd each had been given before or been saved or something. I don't think it was for Christmas.
Oh.
I don't know where they got it from.
It's just $1?
Yeah. They just each happened to have $1.
I don't know what happened.
I was just shaking my finger.
Don't like it.
Okay, I'll stop. Marmee gets back and tells them she was just at the home of a poor family nearby, the Hummels, who have 6 children and no food or firewood.
Oh my god, sorry, I think my boob's out. Just don't look
I
wasn't
looking. I was just
don't look at my boob.
trying to preserve your modesty.
Has my entire boob been out?
No. Just like a little, just like a side boob.
Oh, okay.
But from like the inside. You
Oh,
know that. You know when you.
God.
Oh. $15.
What kind of fucking perfume is that? Probably like in Chemist Warehouse, the Elizabeth Arden like.
Well, I mean, I think things costed less as well as money being worth more. Anyway, that's funny though.
$15. Yeah. All right.
So this poor family has no food and no firewood, and it's Christmas. And she asks the girls if they'll give their Christmas breakfast to the family in charity, and they all agree, despite being, hungry.
Starving. Yeah.
They're in genteel poverty, which is like chic poverty.
Chic poverty.
They're making ends meet, I guess. They don't get to have nice stuff, but
What was the Christmas breakfast that they gave out?
I'm not sure. Cake, I think.
Just
I can't
cake.
remember. Like, yeah, something.
Just cake.
When she talks about food, she usually talks about cake, coffee, and then she'll talk about like meat separately, or there'll be like salad or whatever. I don't know.
Oh, now I'm just getting hungry.
I know, we haven't had dinner yet this time.
I know, I really am hungry.
Yeah. But when we ate dinner last time and then we were all full and sleepy, so this is probably better.
Starving and like jittery.
Keeps us on our toes.
I'm always on my toes. Speaking of...
I want to sit on my butt.
I really do. Speaking of constantly being on my toes, I went to the doctor and I'm like, hey doc, why won't this dandruff leave? It's stress-induced psoriasis on my scalp.
Oh no.
Isn't that great? I was just
like, is that supposed to make me less stressed, doc?
She's like, I think you should manage your stress better. I'm like, I think you should just write the prescription.
I think you should manage your mouth.
So that's great.
I'm sorry.
Good for me.
Well, it'll be your little burden to bear, like the titular Little Women.
It's my little burden. So we took a short break. We ate. Audacity crashed a few times.
Hopefully we'll be okay now.
Yeah, it's warm.
So the girls had just given away their Christmas breakfast.
Oh yeah. That's what set it off. I heard Christmas breakfast.
Yeah.
I was like, I want Christmas breakfast.
Of chip buddies.
Oh.
And
chicken, sweet potato chips.
Yeah. Okay.
Carrots.
So the girls all give The girls all agree despite their own hunger, which turns out to be super gratifying for them, which is nice. And the little kids all call them angels.
Little angels.
Little angels. When they get back, they give their mother her presents, and they perform a Christmas play written by Joe, which they perform for 12 of their friends.
Oh my god, I thought you were going to say 12 hours. Alright, guys, if you hear kids in the background, it's my neighbors. My neighbors are children. They can afford to live here. It's crazy.
So they're like Dickensian orphans picking buckets to pay the rent?
No, they're the... Oh, have you watched Hostel?
No. Sorry.
Never mind then.
Okay.
It's going to be a good reference, but on deaf ears.
Joe plays the male parts, and it's revealed that Meg has a great talent for acting and singing.
Meg. Emma Watson.
Yes. They have a bit of trouble with this set. There's a moment where they build this tower, and then Amy's the princess in the tower, and then Joe's supposed to climb up the tower, and the whole tower falls.
Oh.
Well, Amy's hair gets stuck or something. I'm not sure. But yeah, it's all very amusing.
That would not pass an OH&S.
Oh, surely not. Good thing that was before it was invented. Afterwards, they discover a feast that their wealthy old neighbour, Mr. Lawrence, has sent over for them.
Oh.
Having witnessed the charity earlier in the morning and wanting to reward them. How nice is that?
Doing good, got him good.
Also, he's got a cute nephew.
Oh. Is his name Laurie?
Yeah.
Is his name Timothy Chalamet?
Yeah.
Here we go.
Meg and Joe are invited to go to a New Year's Eve dance at a neighbour's. They have a couple mishaps while they're getting ready. Joe burns off some of Meg's hair. She has it on the curling iron. Oh. And it's smoking, and she's like, no, it's just the steam. It's just the...
Oh no.
And then she pulls it off, and the whole hair comes off.
Do you remember that viral video of that girl that curls her hair, and then she pulls the curler off, and it burns off that whole part of her hair?
Yeah, it's literally that.
And she's just
Joe's nicest dress is burned at the back from standing too close to the fire.
Oh my god, it's like Cinderella, the remake. That happens to her wedding gown.
Oh no.
I know, they had 9 of the big blue ones, and they had 1 of her wedding gown, and it caught on fire because she was standing too close to the heater. Oh no. But they fixed it somehow.
Okay.
I think. It's fine.
Shit. Anyway, so Meg instructs her to stand with her back to the wall, so as not to...
That's so funny. How dark are we talking here?
Huh? I think like a good fist-sized hole. No, it's probably bigger, right? Otherwise you'd be able to hide it because they got a lot of skirts.
I just have to watch the movie to see, I guess.
Yeah. Which Joe does.
The whole night.
So Joe's hanging out by the wall at the party. She feels bored and awkward, and so she tries to escape to an adjacent room, only to find that it's occupied by the Lawrence boy, who's also hiding because he felt awkward.
Oh my god, but from what I... that's the house cat, the littlest woman. Oh. What?
Can I help you?
You're disrupting the podcast. It's an hour, Tweet. Just wait, then you'll get your Christmas breakfast. From what I understand from the trailers, it's Florence Pugh and Timothy Chalamet that get married. But it sounds to me that Joe found Laurie first. So is there a love triangle brewing here?
I'll leave that to your judgment.
Just yes or no.
I mean, I would say no.
Oh. It means it's a yes then. All right,
okay.
Keep going.
They immediately hit it off. They share the same sense of humour, and he's been to Europe, which she's dying to hear about. He doesn't mind her boyish manners. I put boyish in quotation. That's what Louisa May Alcott said. They're boyish manners. So, she just talks.
Yeah, Joe's always the edgy one, the tomboyish one.
She's Avril Lavigne.
Oh my god, she's Avril
wearing
Lavigne.
A tie.
She's Avril Lavigne, and
a tank top.
Florence Pugh is
Taylor Swift.
Britney. Oh, Taylor Swift, yeah. Yeah, you.
But the mean brown-haired version of Taylor Swift.
Oh my god.
Then Meg comes in. She was wearing shoes too small for her.
Oh.
And has sprained her ankle.
Oh no.
In the dance.
Emma, what?
They're going to have to hire a carriage to go home, but Laurie offers to take them. So that's nice.
Just, carry
No,
them?
he has a carriage, so he's like, let me drive you home. And they're like, no, you shouldn't. It's the night's young. You should stay. And he's like, no, I don't like it. I want to go.
All right, Mr. Darcy. Sipping his punch.
Meg and Joe go back to work after the holidays. So Meg's a governess to a nearby family of 4 kids, and Jo's a kind of PA to a wealthy maiden Aunt March. They call her a companion, so I think she's just there to kind of help out around the house and like...
A glorified maid kind of thing?
Yeah, and like read to her and stuff.
Oh yeah, not bad. Wait, Meg's 16, right? So
yeah,
Jo's like what?
15.
Oh, working age, I guess.
Yeah, back then. And also because with their dad off at war, they've got to put some money in somehow. But anyway, they don't get along great, Aunt March and Jo.
Oh no.
But when she like falls asleep in her armchair, Jo gets a full run on the library, which is pretty cool. She's got like a big mansion. She's quite a wealthy woman. Beth works at home, basically as the housekeeper. They have a housekeeper, but Beth also kind of keeps house, I guess. She's too shy for school, apparently, which is why she's not there. I don't know.
Go to school.
I guess it was a good excuse back then.
That's Eliza. What's her face? Right?
Eliza Scanlon. Yeah.
Yeah. Go to school.
She looks after her dolls and kittens and studies piano. She has kittens.
Kittens, plural. Just like this one hanging around here. A 16-year-old kitten.
Amy is still at school.
Amy Florence Pugh, and she's 12.
She's 12. They complain about things to their mum. Meg and Amy both pine for nice things and to live like gentlewomen. Because live like the gentlewomen they rub shoulders with at work and school, respectively. Jo complains about Aunt March. Beth doesn't really complain, but their mum tells them a story about a man who lost all 4 of his sons in the war. And kind of throws shade a little bit on them for complaining and tells them to count their blessings. And they all recommit to trying to be good. There's
they had the whole book thing.
Yeah, there's like a fair bit of this kind of threaded throughout
but like,
the story.
I want to complain. And the mom's like, some people have it worse. They're like,
starving kids in Africa.
Fine.
Basically, yeah, that exact thing.
Oh my god. I know what it's called. Christian guilt. Catholic guilt. Oh no, they're Christian.
These are Protestant guilt.
Guilt.
One day, while they're having a snow fight, Jo notices the boy next door, Laurie, watching them play and looking bummed.
Oh, he was just next door and he had to drive them in a carriage?
Like a big... Well, they were both at a party, like, a while away.
I thought they were at the party at his house. Okay.
No. Laurie's bummed, so she throws a snowball at his window, and they have a cute little shouted conversation where she learns he has a cold and is bored.
Oh, I need to watch this movie because I'm just imagining Timothée Chalamet.
Yeah, he's really cute.
Like a red nose, and he's like, oh, I have a cold. Oh my god.
So she goes up to visit him, and she takes Beth's kittens with her at Beth's suggestion.
How many kittens are there?
More than one? I think like 3.
Are there kittens in the movie?
I don't think so.
I
know. Huh.
Ugh.
Maybe. Why would I have forgotten them though? Anyway, as well as a cake made by Meg.
Oh.
Turns out he's lonely and jealous of the fun games he sees them playing.
Oh.
And she gives him basically a standing invitation to hang out with them.
Yeah, why not?
And he invites her to check out his library, which she's stoked about because he's got a big fancy library.
And also
too.
She loves libraries because she writes
does.
the plays.
She's not like other girls.
She's literally her character in Atonement, but not terrible, I hope.
yeah, and like not terrible.
Doesn't send James McAvoy off
to war.
Oh
no. Although they make a deal of like her wanting to go to war. She's like, I wish I was a boy and that way I could go to war with my father.
You don't want to go.
She doesn't, but she doesn't.
We just watched Legends of the Fall and they thought they wanted to go. They did not.
They did not.
Remember the stupid brother, Sam?
Yes.
And he was like, I want to go to war. And
we were all like, I wonder if he'll get killed. And he
literally gets there and then he writes back. He's like, oh, this is not what I thought it would be. I'm like, oh, you mean awful?
Like your father said it would be?
Like Anthony Hopkins warned you. Who he was at the old war and he was like, guys, don't do it.
A guy who ought to know.
Oh yeah, Laurie.
Yeah. She also meets his grandfather, Mr. Lawrence. When he walks...
Mr. Laurie.
Mr. Lawrence. When he walks in on her saying he looks intimidating, she's like looking at a portrait of him. And she's like, he's intimidating, but he's not as handsome as my grandfather.
Is his name Lawrence?
No, his name's Theodore Lawrence. But he goes by Laurie, like it's on his last name. Okay. She calls him Teddy sometimes.
Oh.
I know. It's cute. I mean, I think his first name's Theodore.
You read it.
Because she calls him Teddy. So anyway.
His name could just be Teddy, like Teddy Geiger, remember him?
That can't have been his real name.
Could just be Teddy.
Theodore Geiger. That sounds like a scientist.
he discovered mad beats.
He mustered every ounce of confidence he had.
Anyway.
Hot
grandpa.
Well, no, like scary grandpa.
Remember she said my grandpa's hot, yours is scary.
Yes.
Yeah.
But her grandpa's dead, I'm pretty sure. Anyway.
He can still be hot.
Well.
In memoriam.
Luckily, he thinks that's pretty funny, and he finds her pretty charming, complimenting her grandpa, who he knew, and offering her tea.
Nice.
Joe finds out from Marmee later that Laurie's...
Not over that.
That Laurie's dad married an Italian woman, a musician, which displeased Mr. Lawrence, which is why he doesn't love it when Laurie plays piano. This reminds me of the woman who stole his son's heart.
You're married for love.
Mm-hmm. Anyway, all the girls start going over to visit except Beth, who's too shy. Mr. Lawrence later asks Marmee,
enough,
making sure Beth can hear, if any of the girls would like to come over and play the grand piano to keep it in tune.
Oh, for Beth, because she plays the piano with her little kittens and her little dolls.
This manages to get Beth over her fear, and she starts going over to the house daily and develops a really cute friendship with Mr. Lawrence, who is reminded of his dead granddaughter by her. The whole story is just moments going, oh, it's such a wholesome book. She makes him a beautiful pair of slippers.
Why
by
does he
way
have
of
a
thanks.
dead granddaughter?
I don't know. Everyone had one back then.
Oh my god.
And then he surprises her by delivering to the March home a piano of her own.
Oh.
Meanwhile, you're going to have to think of something else to say to react to
What about, shucks. I'll come up with something different each time I want to say oh.
Yeah, okay. It's going to get weird. Meanwhile, Amy gets in trouble at school and gets beaten for it, on her hands.
Oh.
Not like
I know.
Not like Fight Club.
It's just she got an F and they just take her down.
No, it was she had candied limes, pickled limes was the hot thing at school. You know when we were at school and it was those plastic woven shit that there was always a thing. Anyway, that was limes? It. And they got banned and she had some hidden in her desk and then she got beaten.
Why would they be banned? They're just limes.
I don't know.
What are the kids doing with the limes?
Not thinking about Jesus, that's for sure. And that's what school's for, so focus on Jesus.
If you eat a lime, you're a whore.
Satan's apples.
Satan's tart lemons.
Oh gosh. Okay.
Yep,
it's quite funny. She has a whole thing. Joe and Meg get invited to go with Laurie to the theatre one night, and Amy cries because she wants to go, but Joe refuses and is really mean to her.
Why?
Because she's a big sister and she's mean.
Oh yeah.
While they're out, Amy takes the manuscript of the novel Joe's working on and burns it.
I think I remember that part because you know what? I remember I read it because I was part of a book club in grade 5. Aww. Don't at me. We all had to be part of some extracurricular club, and I was like, well, I don't play any instruments. I do know how to read good. And we watched the super old movie of it, and I do.
Yes,
I remember
the 40s one with Katharine Hepburn.
Yeah, I remember someone lighting something on fire.
Yes,
and then someone screaming about it. I'm like. That's
well, reasonable. This is that part.
Oh, here we go.
Joe swears never to forgive her, even after Amy apologizes. Multiple times.
Well, there weren't any backup copies.
No.
It's not like she had a drive to upload. It's not on the cloud.
The next day, Joe and Laurie are set to go ice skating.
Aww.
And Amy tries to join them. She was promised that the next time she'd get to go. But Joe leaves her behind. And because Joe left her behind, she misses Laurie's warning to stay away from the middle of the river where the ice is thin. And so as she's trying to catch up to them on the river, it breaks and she gets caught in the freezing water.
This is Amy, right?
Yeah.
Oh no.
Laurie thinks on his feet and whips a frozen, figuratively, Joe into gear to help save her frozen, literally, sister.
Did you write that?
I did.
Are you proud of yourself?
Yes.
Alright.
Jo confesses her guilt to her mother afterwards, that by letting her anger consume her, she could have lost Amy as a result, and she genuinely could have.
This is what she said she wanted to get rid of when she had the little pilgrim book.
Exactly!
Refer to your little book.
Mm-hmm. Mommy confesses. Marmee.
Marmee. Wait, what was Amy's selfish?
Selfishness, yeah.
Oh. Amy. Alright.
How do you feel about Amy at the moment?
Well, I know she marries Laurie.
So you want to like her.
Yeah, I'm trying to be on her side here.
She's not making it easy. She's 12.
Oh, yeah. I remember being 12 and awful.
God, can you imagine? Yes.
And then your older sister's hanging out with the hot boy next door. You're like, I want to come.
Mm-hmm. Well, I was the mean older sister, but
I was both at the same time. Just me to me.
You bullied yourself.
You can't go out.
Marmee confesses in kind, admitting that she has a hot temper like Joe's, and it has taken her 40 years to master it. And then she kind of goes back to the book, like, believe in Jesus, he'll help you. Meg goes to stay with a wealthy friend, Annie Moffat, for a fortnight.
Why?
It's the season. Like, do you know about the season where it's like girls go to balls and like girls who are out, who are like eligible to be married?
Sure.
There's like a lot of events and stuff.
Good for
It's like
them.
an English thing. It's like an old-fashioned thing.
Good for them.
Anyway, it's that kind of thing. So there's just going to be like a fortnight of events and stuff. So she's going out to parties and things, but she feels bad about her shabby dress.
Oh.
But her friends lent her a prettier one, and she feels great and has a great time until Laurie shows up and shits on her for it.
What? Why?
Yeah. He's like, I don't like fuss and feathers. He's like, you look ridiculous. Because she doesn't look like herself. He thinks she's phony, in that teenage boy kind of way.
He doesn't even know her that well. He knows Joe, like, pretty well.
He's been hanging out with all of them quite a bit. Like, he hangs out with them as a family.
Oh my god, you know what he just did? He just wronged Hermione. For reals, at
he
the
named
ball.
her, yeah.
And she looked so good, and he was like, ugh. And then she was like, go to bed, both of you. And she's like crying.
Yeah, well, that's basically, oh my god, it's Hermione.
I know.
It's Watson. There's this part in the film where she pretends to do an English accent. She's like doing like she's like pretending to be she's obviously acting as an American girl pretending to do an English accent, but all I could think of was like, Hermione.
Remember when Victor Crumb would call her like Hermione?
Hermione.
I was like, doing your best. He was like a 30-year-old man.
The actor?
He looked...
Well, he was supposed to be like 18.
Yeah. You've seen the movies.
Yeah. I mean...
Not recently.
No.
You don't rewatch them every year? Just like as a fun time? Good.
That would be the kind of thing I would do, wouldn't it? But no, I haven't. And she's like, can a bitch live? To compound matters, she overhears gossip that her mother is planning to marry her off to Laurie.
Oh no!
Which makes her angry, but she holds it in. She's like, how dare you gossip about me behind my back?
How old is Laurie? Her age? Like 16?
Joe's age 15. But she treats him like he was like 12. She's like, I'm the oldest.
I get it.
Yeah. So she gets home at last. She feels super bad about all the champagne drinking and flirting and confesses it to her mum and to Joe.
Why is that bad?
Because it's the 1800s.
Oh.
And a bitch cannot live.
A bitch truly could not.
And she tells Marmee about the gossip.
Marmee, guess what I heard? I want to adjust.
Yeah, sure. And she tells Marmee about the gossip, which she denies. And she says she'd rather they marry for love.
Mm.
In the spring, the girls let Laurie into their secret society, the PC Club, which is modelled on, I think, like the Pickwick Club. It's like a Dickens reference, which I don't actually know.
First of all, I'm sorry. Did you ever watch Gilmore Girls?
I've watched like a lot of episodes from all over it.
That's a no. Anyway, when Rory goes to fucking Yale and she hooks up with Logan, this little trust fund rich boy, he's part of this secret club. Mm-hmm. I forgot what they're called, something society, and they do these stupid pranks to like feel alive, to carpe the old DM. And the thing she joins in on is like they're on top of like they're on something, I don't know, they're somewhere high.
They're on a high vantage point.
They all get like an umbrella and jump off the thing and like Mary Poppins down.
That's not how it works.
It worked somehow.
Well, it shouldn't have.
Anyway, that was my point.
Okay.
There's a God. Why can't you
So you know about PC clubs.
Why can't you get all my references?
What
is PC?
That's just what they call the club. And they let Laurie in, and they open a post office for themselves, which is just a little birdhouse kind of in the hedge between their two houses, where they leave things, letters and packages to each other. And I think the adults do as well.
The adults are like, why not?
Why not? And they just leave stuff to each other. But Mr. Brooke, Laurie's cute tutor, has taken a shine to Meg and delivers her a glove she left at the house, as well as a poem translated from German. So he leaves it in a little letterbox for her.
How old is this tutor?
20s?
That's fine.
Yeah. It's the olden days. Could be worse. In summer, Laurie has a picnic where he invites a big old group of friends, including the Vaughns, an English family. So friends of his from overseas who are sort of in the country.
Every time you say something like mildly spicy, I keep looking over like there's a camera and I'm in the office and I'm like, wrong
The
medium.
Vaughns. Kate, the oldest, is standoffish. Then the twins, Fred and Frank. Fred is a prankster, while Frank is lame. So he's
lame.
It was what they used to call it when you were on crutches.
Oh. Why would you not start with that? I thought you just meant like lame, like he's a narc, or it's like no one wants to play with him.
Sorry, that's just that's how the book describes him. No, he's just like on crutches. And Grace is basically just like Amy, and they get along really well.
Oh, good for them.
Just a little girl. They boat over to the other side of the river, and there's a big marquee set up, and everyone plays croquet, which Jo wins, even though Fred cheats. She gets very angry, but she controls herself.
Little pilgrim.
They play a storytelling game, like a tandem story. I don't know. It's like theater games. I don't know why. Like she includes the whole story in the book.
Why not?
Just fine. She's probably getting paid by the word, so why not? Kate looks down on Meg for being a governess, but Mr. Brooke defends her and America, and helps Meg read a German poem. She doesn't really realize he's got a crush on her, but she likes him and is grateful for him defending from Kate. So
who plays Mr. Brooks in the movie?
I don't know his name.
Is he cute?
He's alright.
Alright. I don't know his name. We look it up and it's literally like Jude Law or something.
No, not quite like that. Also, he's like 50.
I said it.
He's still... I'd go there.
You can still get it.
Jo and Laurie meet later. So he was like in a fencing lesson and they like run into each other in the street. And they discover they each have a secret to share. Jo has left 2 stories with a newspaper who's going to print them. For free though. But like that's still super exciting. And
under her name or like a little alias?
Under her name, I think, at this point.
Oh.
It's like a local paper. And super. Laurie has a secret. He knows that Brooke kept one of Meg's gloves. Explain your face.
It's the face you make when your food comes to... Well, you're at a restaurant waiting for the food, and then waiters pass by with what you think is your food, and it's not, but then suddenly it's coming towards you, and you're like, ooh.
Sure.
You asked me to explain my face.
Yeah, I think that's pretty good explanation.
I don't even see my face. I think you should explain it.
I think just the noise, hoo, hoo, hoo.
It's saucy.
It is saucy. And that's why only one of them was given back in chapter 12. Laurie thinks it's great, but Jo is upset. Yeah. She doesn't want anyone taking Meg away from the house.
Oh, yeah.
It's her best friend, basically. So she's stiff and cold to Brooke from then on.
Oh, no.
He's like, I don't understand.
He's like, hey, Jo, no, okay.
Eventually, she comes home with a paper and reads everyone the story without telling them that she wrote it. And,
oh, no.
And then she's like, and it was me! And everyone's like, oh my god, yay!
Oh, I thought she wrote it. Everyone was like, okay, lame.
No, they were like, oh, I love it, because it has everything they like.
Ah.
Anyway, on a dark day in November,
oh no,
they get a letter that their father is in hospital in Washington.
But he wasn't even doing anything in the world.
He was being there.
But he wasn't, like, fighting
enough. I think he got, like, a disease. You know how they get diseases in the barracks back then?
I guess, yeah.
Go through him. Missed it, all that touching of forehead.
Stop it. Yeah, he's in the hospital.
Yes.
And then what?
Their mother has to go down there at once. Mr. Brooke goes as her escort. Before she goes, Jo gives her $25.
Oh.
And when they ask where she got it, she takes off her beanie and reveals she sold all of her hair.
What?
She went to a hairdresser and she's like, how much for this? And they were like, $25.
Why
and she was like, take it. They'd make wigs and stuff out of it.
Oh.
Yeah.
Or
like hair pieces and
stuff. Does this
stuff.
happen in the movie?
Yeah.
Oh.
Spoiler. But yeah. Well, and it's really cute later because she like cries over it. She's like, I miss my hair.
We'll grow back. It's fine.
Yeah. So while Marmy is down there in Washington
with Darty,
Beth contracts scarlet fever.
From
the Hummels, the poor family from earlier. She was the only one who's been going to visit them, right?
Oh no.
And in like the darkest moment of the entire book, the baby like dies of scarlet fever in her arms. And then when she gets back, they like feel her forehead and she's like, I don't feel so good. And they're like, you have scarlet fever. Which I meant to look up.
And I know that Beth does die because in Friends, that's what Rachel does to get to Joey. She's like,
yeah,
Beth dies.
He's like, no.
And he's like, it actually, he had to reread it a couple of times because he thought it had, he thought Laurie and, Laurie was a girl and Joe was a boy. So he was like, that's everything The Shining does it, lesbians. And Rachel's like, what?
That's funny. With Beth bedridden, Amy has to be sent off to live with Aunt March because she's the only girl who hasn't had scarlet fever yet. So the other two are immune, but Amy's not, so she has to go.
No vaccines, yeah.
Yeah. She refuses to go, but Laurie promises to come visit her every day, which he does.
Oh, that's how they fall in love, I guess.
Well, that's how they become close. While Beth is sick, everyone is surprised by how many friends she has. The milkman and the grocer check in on her.
Oh, yeah, because she's the shy one.
Yeah, and everyone feels her absence really keenly. Remember, she was the only one doing, like, a lot of the stuff around the house.
Yeah. And her kittens.
Yeah. Although they do have a housekeeper called Hannah, who's kind of been left in charge while Marmie's away.
Marmie, come barky.
Beth grows delirious, and the girls beg to be allowed to write to their mother about it, but Hannah doesn't want them to until a doctor comes, and it's like, yeah, you need to call your mum right away. She didn't want to, like, worry her
until there was
and
something
draw her
to
away because the dad's sick as well, right?
Oh,
so
everyone's sick.
that's basically the tagline of the 1800s.
Everyone's sick.
So the doctor comes and is like, yeah, you need to call her mum right away. So that night at 2 a.m, Beth goes still and looks peaceful and free of pain. Joe thinks she's dead, but Hannah realizes that the fever has finally broken and Beth's going to survive. Meantime, Amy's actually getting along quite well with Aunt March and makes friends.
I have a question.
Yes?
Did they have any medicine for, like, scarlet fever? Or is it just like...
Not for scarlet fever. I think they had, like, aspirin and stuff like that.
They were just like, I hope she doesn't die.
Just here's some cocaine.
Yeah.
No, it was kind of... We're at that point, I think, in medicine where it was like, heroin?
Anyone want some crack?
So Amy actually gets along really well with Aunt March and makes friends with the Catholic maid Esther, who shows her all the jewels and explains what a rosary is. Esther helps Amy set up a little chapel of her own in her dressing room. It's cute. And gets Laurie to help her write a will. Amy gets Laurie to help her write a will, as Beth's near miss has had her meditating on mortality.
Oh my god, she's like 12.
Yeah. Amy receives a turquoise ring at the end of her stay as a sort of reward for good behaviour.
Dope.
Which is she's stoked about. But she's also becoming a good little girl. Like, she's not all about the ring now. She's learning
like,
how
it's nice, I suppose.
I'll wear it as a reminder to be good.
Oh my god. Florence.
Marmie gets home and everything is okay.
Darty's okay?
Yeah. Yeah, he's okay.
He's not coming back?
He isn't back yet. Joe lets her know what Laurie told her about John Brooke. But as she just spent her time in Washington with him and likes him now, remember he went down as an escort for her. This doesn't go down as Joe hopes. She's like, no, I like him. He's nice.
He's probably nice.
He is
Joe's
nice.
Just, Joe.
Through some shenanigans with Laurie, Meg finds out how Brooke feels about her. But is resolved to give him only the answer, I'm too young, if he ever brings it up with her.
Oh.
On Christmas Day, to their surprise, Laurie comes in and tells them he has a present for them. Their father's come home.
Darty!
In the excitement, Brooke kisses Meg.
Oh.
By mistake, which...
How does that happen?
I don't know.
It's like, oh, I'm so excited.
Oh, no.
Like, I've been excited and my lips have just stayed here. It's like another Friends reference. In high school, Ross had a crush on Rachel, and he tried to kiss her, and his excuse was he needed chapstick, and she had some on her mouth, and it was a dry day. It did not work.
No. He's like, oh no, I was trying to kiss your father? Like, I don't know how he played that down. But...
Yeah. How does he do that? It's like, whoops.
Ooh, Meg.
So I thought this, oh god.
Their father notes their changes in character for the better. He observes that Meg's hands, once pretty and smooth, are now burned and hardened, but he says that they're still beautiful.
Whose hands?
Meg's.
Why?
Because she's been, like, housekeeping.
Oh, it's you.
My hands are beautiful, thank you very much. Not a scratch on them. No, that's not true.
Yeah, didn't even have to do anything there.
Joe has indeed become a little woman, still strong-willed, but not as wild and caring for Beth has sort of given her a maternal tenderness.
Aww.
Beth has overcome a lot of her bashfulness, And everyone's happy that she's safe, whereas Amy is patient now and less vain.
How many... Are we halfway through? I'm scared.
Yeah.
Okay.
One day Brooke stops by to collect his umbrella and see Mr. March. Jo flees the room, leaving Meg alone, and she tries to go too, but he catches her hand and confesses his feelings for her.
Okay.
She attempts to make her speech, but ends up accepting, like, the speech, like, I'm too young.
Long speech, yeah.
Well, there's more to it, but yeah. She ends up accepting his marriage proposal.
What? How does that happen?
Aunt Marge comes in and tells her not to in a very Pride and Prejudice moment. And she's like, well, I will! And Jo comes back in to find Meg sitting on his knee, and he calls Jo's sister.
Oh, no.
And she's like, what? And then part 2. We skip 3 years.
3 years, alright. Meg is 19. Well, it's been a year, actually, so she'd be 20.
Mm-hmm. So Mr. March is back to being a minister. Brooke has served in the army and is back, and he's fine.
Oh.
He got injured, but I think he's fine.
Oh, he's fine.
He's working as a bookkeeper to earn a home for Meg. Meg is learning housekeeping and is focused on fitting out her home with the help of family and friends. Aunt March, who declared she would never help them with any money, nevertheless gets around this by sending them nice linens via another relative. So she loves him, you know.
Why didn't she want Meg to marry?
Because he's poor.
Oh. What?
And they won't be able to support themselves, let alone the whole family.
Oh. Well, Aunt March isn't even really that related to them, is it? Like,
she is the sister of their father's father?
okay.
Yeah.
Alright. Distant.
Yeah, like...
She's there, it's fine.
Jo is focused on writing, and Beth has never quite gotten over the scarlet fever. She's, like, permanently weak now.
Oh, no.
Yeah. That's why I wanted to look it up, because I think it might be a cyclical thing, but I'm not 100% sure. Amy is now Aunt March's full-time companion, instead of Jo.
Oh, why? What's Jo doing? The writing?
Yeah, and Amy's being gifted drawing lessons in return.
Ah.
Like, with fancy girls. Fancy high-class girls. Laurie is at college and spends most of his time partying and studying just enough to keep his grandpa off his back. And apparently he hazes and gets hazed.
Oh my god.
Which I would have loved more details on, but she doesn't give us any. So it's finally time for Meg's wedding. It's plain, honest, and full of love.
Oh.
Yeah.
I said I'd find more alternatives for all, but there's none. It's all.
She made her own wedding dress, and she uses only flowers for accessories and decoration. It's lovely, and it scandalizes Aunt March. Amy tries to throw a party for her drawing school friends. Oh, this is like later. Amy tries to throw a party for
I
her
thought you
drawing
meant at
school
the
friends.
same time. She's like,
sorry, I should have started a new paragraph. She spends loads of time and her own money, but only one of them comes.
Oh no.
That's sad. Jo starts writing sensational stories, which is basically like trash, I guess.
Why
Trash
did no
fiction.
one come to her party?
Because she's poor, I guess.
Oh, and they're like, nice.
Yeah, and I think it was like, the weather was like not great that morning, but it cleared up, and she was like, well, they'll still come, and they didn't.
Oh, poor Florence.
Pugh.
Florence.
So she knows that trash will make her a bit of money, and so she's able to buy the house stuff like groceries and a new carpet. Oh. And she's like really encouraged by her success.
Yeah.
She sells her first novel.
Yeah.
She gets a $300 advanced and mixed criticism, which means her ego. Mixed criticism.
Oh, no.
Like contradictory criticism. So it's like, there wasn't enough morals. There were too much morals. There was, you know.
No, I know what that means. I just didn't hear it.
No, I was giving you an example of the mixed criticism.
Oh, I thought you just realized. I thought you thought I didn't know what the word mixed meant. And I'm like, hey.
Meg has a few misadventures in her new marriage. She tries to make like jam and fails, then yells at him.
It's like kooky hijinks.
Yeah. And it's like, it's all about, them learning how to live together and stuff. And it's a lot of it's pretty, not educational, but like.
Instruction.
A little bit, like, girls reading it. So she published this in a kind of serialized form. So it almost do really well as like a TV show. Like each of these little things that happens kind of has its own chapter. So I think like the girls sort of following along with the story might have been able to see themselves in one or other of the characters and gain sort of instruction from it. She spends too much for silk on her dress, and and he's like, that's okay. But then she sees that he cancels his order for a new winter coat.
Oh no.
And she feels really bad about it, and so she gives the silk back. And she eventually has 2 twins. She gives birth to twins, Daisy and Demi, and they're really cute.
Oh my god, we said 2 twins. I thought you meant she had like fucking 4.
No, sorry. Those,
I'm like, that's so many.
I
Who's she,
missed it.
Roger Federer?
Does he have 2 sets of twins?
Yes.
Oh my god.
I know, the first were 2 girls, and now they're 2 boys.
That's even. At
Highly
least.
seeded. Not only in tennis.
When making formal calls with Amy around town, which Amy kind of harangues Joe into coming with her on these sort of formal calls to visit people.
Joe, formal calls.
You were just like, if the person was at home, you would like wear nice clothes, and if the person was at home, you would sit down, have tea, and talk, and then go out to the next person's house and sit down.
Exhausting. Leave me alone.
Well, Joe feels the same way. And during this sort of process, she's really rude to Aunt March.
Can we take a BuzzFeed quiz after this to see which little
Sister
woman we are?
Yeah. I actually got, one time I took that, like, every character quiz. You know, there was, like, one of those quizzes that was, like, literally every fictional character they said they had. And they give you, like, percentages. And I had Joe as my top one. Huh. And this is before I knew about it. And reading it, I'm like, I don't know if I agree with that.
Maybe the you that took that quiz is
different.
more like Joe. Yeah.
Maybe.
Maybe now you're Meg.
Because I'm married.
You're Meggied.
And mermaid.
Oh, I'll never be over that.
So Joe's like rebelling at Amy's, imploring her to be polite and not weird. She's like, I will be impolite and weird. She declares she doesn't like French and hates anyone doing her favors. She doesn't want to be in anyone's debts. She's rewarded for these comments by being passed over for a trip to Europe. Which Amy is invited to instead.
Is this Aunt March's trip to Europe?
So Aunt March has a friend. Or like, they have another aunt who's going to Europe.
That's so
But
funny.
I think Aunt March got to choose which girl.
That's hilarious. Because didn't she just want to go to Europe? That's her thing?
Yes. Yes. Joe is shocked and hurt and jealous and says Amy's too young, but Mommy tells her off, saying not to spoil Amy's happiness. Because Amy earned this.
Yeah. Marmy's right.
We learn about Amy's travels through her letters home. She talks about all the beautiful things she sees, the colours and scenery, and the history she learns in the museums.
How long was she gone for?
Months.
Yo.
Months and months and months. She also talks about finding Fred and Frank Vaughan along the journey, who host her when she's in London. And Fred takes her to Florence and Rome.
Ooh.
Along with, like, another cousin. But at one point, he and a friend serenade her on the Rhine.
I'm just trying to see where she ends up with Timothy Chalamet, and it's just not showing up yet.
Keep on listening. It's very romantic.
Really?
She likes him, but she does not love him.
Wait, who are we talking about right now?
Fred.
Oh, I thought you meant
the Vaughan
Timothy
boy.
Chalamet. Never mind.
But he's rich.
Yeah.
And having believed Aunt March when Aunt March told her she had to marry rich to support the family, Amy says if he asked her, she would agree. However, Frank, the lame Vaughan, becomes ill, and Fred has to rush away to help him, to be there for him. I feel like that was really normal back then, people just falling ill, and like, better go.
It's like, can you pretend to be kind of sick so I can leave? It's like, I am really sick.
Buddy, I do not have to pretend.
I'm always at least half
Do you see this makeup on my face? It is made out of lead.
Oh my god.
I have been rubbing mercury into my eyeballs for the last 6 months.
Why in the eyeballs?
That's what my doctor told me to do. And he does cocaine.
So he knows.
Back at home, Marmee and Joe notice Beth is depressed, which is sad. Joe develops a theory that Beth's in love with Laurie because she only seems to cheer up when he's around.
Interesting.
That evening, Joe finds Beth crying herself to sleep, but will not tell Joe what it is. Joe's starting to believe, and rightly so, that Laurie has feelings for her.
For Beth?
For Joe. So Joe decides that she wants a bit of adventure and to put distance between herself and Laurie.
Joe doesn't like Laurie that way?
No.
Dude, it's Timothy Chalamet.
And she's sure some runners. She can have whoever she wants.
I know, but it's Timothy Chalamet.
Anyway, she's hoping he'll forget his feelings for her while she's gone. So she spends 6 months. So Amy's still in Europe this whole time. So she must be there for like a year and a bit, at least.
Where's Joe fucking off to?
New York City.
Oh,
the
nice.
Big Apple. As a governess for 2 children. So she's with a friend of her mother who owns a boarding house there.
Okay.
So she lives in the boarding house. She looks after the children. And she gets to meet all sorts of new people.
That's pretty cool. And she can still write.
Yeah.
For her.
She takes German lessons with a man called Professor Bayer who lives in the house. He's come to America from Berlin to care for the orphaned boys of his sister. His sister's dead.
Yes, I figured.
And he's lovely and charming and German.
Wait, how old is this guy?
Oh my like old.
Uh-oh.
Like 40, I guess. For extra, I think she says he's 40. Anyway, for extra money, Joe writes salacious sensation stories. You know, about poisonings and murders and the stuff I read.
Yeah. Tabloids.
Clickbait.
Clickbait.
Bear.
She writes for BuzzFeed.
Extra. Gosh, okay. Bear expresses moral disapproval over this and makes her feel bad.
Ah, shut it.
So she stops it even though it's made her lots of money and was a really great thing for her, in my opinion. She's developing a crush on him. He's probably got that 1800s German psychoanalyst sexiness.
Ew, Freud.
Big beard. Young Freud, big beard.
Ew, but he's like 40 and she's like...
21 or 22? That's pretty normal back then.
Ugh.
Anyway.
She can do better than this guy. Yeah. I don't even know.
That's why everyone's super mad that she never marries Laurie. Yeah. Anyway, when she gets back, Laurie proposes marriage.
Aww.
And she declines.
Oh.
And it's rough.
It's just an emotional roller coaster.
It's hard scene to read. If you've rejected a friend, it's hard to read.
What about to watch?
Yeah.
How does he... Is it all romantic and she's like, no?
No, it's like they're both being tormented. Like he's like, but I love you, and she's like, but I can't love you, and they're both like in a lot of pain.
I love that.
It's romantic and sad.
I need to watch it so bad.
Yeah. Alcott says she feels like she stabbed her best friend in the heart. She notices a change.
Who was the best friend?
Laurie. She notices a change in Beth for the worse.
Oh no.
And she wants to take her to the mountains, but Beth wants to stay closer to home. So they go to the seaside instead, where Joe learns that Beth's secret was not that she was depressed over loving Laurie, but that she had given up hope on living.
So she was just depressed.
Yeah. She's dying.
From what?
It sounds like consumption, just wasting away.
Oh, bad.
Or as we know it today, tuberculosis.
Oh.
Yeah. TB.
TB?
Mm-hmm.
To be what?
TB, is that a pencil? Riveting material, you guys.
Beth's dying.
Yeah, she sure is. She's come to terms with it now and begs Joe to do the same so they may spend their last time together in peace.
How does she just know? I guess back then you're like, I'm a little weak. This is death.
I don't know. She's a little bit magical, Beth. She's a little bit angelic. Just in the way she's described. Anyway, this is what she says. She says, I never wanted to go away, and the hard part now is leaving you all. I'm not afraid, but it seems as if I should be homesick for you, even in heaven.
Oh.
I know, it's so sad.
Oh, no.
So Laurie travels to Europe with his grandfather to escape his heartbreak and presumably his embarrassment.
Well, yeah.
Laurie meets Amy in Europe, and he slowly falls in love with her as he begins to see her in a new light. So this one time, Amy invites Laurie to a Christmas ball. And she uses her smarts to dress up beautifully despite being poor. She
DIY.
tweaks the dress. Yeah, basically. And she's gets the flowers.
She's a crafty queen.
She sure is. She's an artist. She wanted to be, her whole dream was to be a big famous artist and go to Rome.
And I guess she's
one of the greats.
more mature now and stuff as well.
Yeah, definitely.
She's all European.
Laurie admires her and compliments her, but she encourages him to be blunt and natural like they were at home. She's like, stop being phony.
Oh my god, all this phony talk. Who are they? Holding cold? Catcher in the Rye?
Coming soon.
Coming soon.
So Amy's unimpressed by the aimless, idle, and forlorn attitude he's adopted since being rejected by Joe. And she tells him off and inspires him to do something worthwhile with his life. But she's cutting. She has this whole speech where she's tells him, I despise you.
Oh my god.
And she undresses him. It's basically a Beyonce song.
Oh my god. She reads him.
She does.
Filled.
Here's one. So he's part of it, but it's long. She says, you have grown abominably lazy, and you like gossip and waste time on frivolous things. You are contented to be petted and admired by silly people instead of being loved and respected by wise ones.
I feel attacked.
And then she says this, the author, the narrator says this, which is great. It says, Amy's lecture did Laurie good, though of course he did not own it till long afterward. Men seldom do, for when women are the advisors, the lords of creation don't take advice till they have persuaded themselves that it is just what they intended to do. Then they act upon it, and if it succeeds, they give the weaker vessel half the credit of it. If it fails, they generously give her the whole.
Ha! Ha!
Ha!
Oh.
Got him.
She got him. She's in.
When the news of Beth's death finally reaches them, they console each other.
She just dies.
Yeah. And their romance develops. Amy's aunt will not allow Amy to return with Laurie.
Why?
With just Laurie and his grandfather. So they get married before returning home from Europe.
Oh, little...
For propriety.
Oh, little almost shotgunny wedding.
Pretty much. Like a little elopement, basically.
Yeah.
At home, Meg and John navigate having 2 tiny little children. We get some cute scenes of, like, disciplining them. Like, the little boy, like, won't go to bed, and, like, Meg's too nice. She, like, gives him a sugar cube to get him to go to bed, and he comes down anyway, and then the dad's like, no! And it's cute.
Do you see that in the movie?
Not really. You get a couple scenes of them, and they are lovely and sweet. But I just like that one. Professor Bayer, the German, goes to the marches and stays for 2 weeks. He's hot in the movie. It's okay.
Why does Joe have darty issues? Oh no. He's hot in the movie.
Yeah.
Who was he played by?
A guy I don't know. I think he's French or something.
Oh, you're useless.
Sorry.
Sorry.
On his last day, he proposes to Joe.
Ew. Please tell me she says no.
Joe is stoked and actually accepts.
Joe!
Aunt March dies. I'm kind of rushing through the last bits. Aunt March dies, and she leaves her mansion to Joe.
Ooh.
Joe and Bayer turn the house into a school.
That's pretty cool.
For boys.
Ugh. They
have 2 sons of their own.
Oh no, I thought it was gonna be like she didn't end up staying with them or something.
Yeah, no.
Joe.
It was still written in the 1860s, like she had to get married. Amy and Laurie have a daughter named Beth, and she's also sickly, which is like...
Oh, fuck.
It's almost like the author's punishing her for being, like, to having it all, like, having a good life.
Or just, like, anyone named Beth, it's like...
Yeah, well, that's,
gonna
like...
be a little sick.
Isn't that, like... Makes you think it's, like, cursed.
Let's name our Beth don't.
Okay, the last scene of the story is apple picking time.
Oh.
And they all celebrate Marmy's 60th birthday together.
Where's Darty? He's around.
He's there. And that is the end of the Storm Army.
The Stormy.
Stormy.
Oh, so I guess it's literally just like a little sneak peek into the Little Women's lives.
Yeah, it's like a slice of life.
Yeah, there's not like a big, like, 3-act, like...
No, it's a lot more episodic, like a TV show, honestly. I'm surprised it's never been a series.
Yeah, like...
Because that's how it was written.
Like
it was
Pride
written
and Prejudice
for,
or something.
Serial publishing in a newspaper.
Yeah, I'm surprised. Are you sure? Maybe there is one. I just don't know.
Oh, look, it's possible. It's been popular for so long.
Since the 1800s.
There must be loads of adaptations of it.
I hope, what's her face? Florence, Amy, like, when her and Laurie fell in love, I hope she never felt like second fiddle to Joe or something, like she's the rebound. Or, I guess not.
I was gonna say, the romanticization of poverty is really interesting to me.
Well, you gotta make them feel better somehow.
The poors.
Yeah, the poors. It's like, oh, poor chic.
Well, that's what I was like, you know, in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, where he, like, stares up through the hole in his ceiling at the stars, and he's like, one day.
Original or remake?
I don't know, probably the remake, actually, but there's, it's just like, he's gonna get rained on. Like, this isn't romantic.
He's gonna die.
He's gonna get frostbite.
TB.
Yeah, tetanus. I don't know why that's my favorite disease to just bring up. Tetanus. It can strike at any time.
It really cannot.
If you step on a rusty nail, it can.
How many rusty nails are around?
A lot at this time.
Yeah, my biggest takeaway is I love Marmy. If I ever have children, they have to call me Marmy.
No, gross.
I will take nothing less than Marmy. Marmy. Happy Marmy's Day. And I'm like...
Is it, since they're from Massachusetts, do they have, like, Boston accents? So is it, like, Mommy? Is that what it is?
It's like the Wahlbergs.
Mommy.
Mommy.
I think we just discovered the way it's meant to be pronounced.
Mommy.
Mommy.
Oh, Daddy. No pocky. Oh, my God.
It's hot.
What else happened? We only need 8 questions to figure out which Little Women character you are. Only 8.
Okay, top one. Ooh, pick a female artist.
I chose Lady Gaga.
Oh, Beyonce. Am I allowed?
I don't know. I know. Are you really that into Beyonce though? Aside from Lemonade?
I like her more than the others.
Okay. Pick an ice cream. I'm gonna choose the one that looks like gelato, like pistachio gelato in the bottom.
Oh, sure.
Pick a novel. Pride and Prejudice.
I like the waffle cone. I'm a big waffle cone person.
Yeah, it's good, right? Pride and Prejudice.
Oh, I love Gone Girl though.
Pride and Prejudice. Can you let me read the options first?
Sorry.
Pride and Prejudice, Hunger Games, Twilight, Gone Girl. Oh my god.
All chick.
I love Twilight, but not in like an earnest way, like in a disgust. Oh, I like the movie more, I guess. I've never read Pride and Prejudice. We did the thing on it.
Which is fun, right?
But I did like reading Gone Girl. It was kind of spookier than the movie in the way that you're like, did he
do it? Yeah.
I'm gonna choose Gone Girl.
Me too.
Pick a dog. Oh,
they're all beautiful.
I'm gonna choose the one that's in a field. I know two of them are in a field. The one that's like away from the bubble. The one that's like, ah.
Yeah, the happy looking sort of Labrador. I'm gonna choose the...
No, the one with the bubble.
Oh, the one with the bubble. So the poodly.
I don't know what that is.
I'm gonna choose the sort of snow dog looking one.
Oh yeah, that's cute.
It looks like a sheepdog.
Pick a season. Fall.
Spring.
Oh, I'm Joe.
I'm Amy.
Courageous, creative, honest, and headstrong. You're just like Joe March.
Youthful, fiery, inspired, and with a heart of gold. You're just like Amy.
Oh, you get to marry Timothy though.
Oh yeah. I get to be Florence Pugh, which...
You are Florence Pugh.
Well, there you go.
Alright, that's it. That's a wrap on Little Women.
We gotta go.
We gotta turn the fan on.
Oh my god.
Alright, please turn the fan on.
Trying to find our marmies.
No.
No, sorry.
Trying to be marmies. Trying to find our darties.
We're just two marmies.
Trying to find our darties. So we can have our own Little Women.